Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. Objects, I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And first of all, we were just doing some talking. We could bring it up here in a minute. But first thing I thought literally coming into this is, well, two things. You've got your radio gig tomorrow. So by the time, which is Friday, because we're recording on a Thursday, by the time people hear this, I was going to say, well, fuck it. You missed it. You know?
Yeah, so. You missed it. Exactly. I've been posting all goddamn week on Facebook. And yeah, that's right. So whatever.
Yeah. So Mike's been posting. I've been putting it up on Instagram at least every other day, sometimes twice in a day, depending on what it is. So, yeah, Mike had a great time at his radio gig.
He did.
He rocked his balls off.
Right. Wow.
He left his balls at the radio station for next year. Hi. But then the other thing I was thinking about is just to kind of in general. I mean, it just where's the fucking time went? I mean, it's fucking September already. I mean,
pretty much.
And then that kind of goes back to what you and I were talking about. So we did a normally we just talk about this shit on here, and I guess now we're going to. But so Mike had asked. The long story short is, I want to go down to some place and be around, cool fall foliage and stuff like that.
Foliage.
The foliage. West Virginia seems like one of the places. So Mike said, hey, when you go, blah, 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 this and that. So he is chairing at his home group. So he's like, hey, would you want to lead for me end of September? And I'm like, yeah, we went back and forth. Obviously works out. So first thing I said to him is, I said, pencil me in. And you said?
I said, oh, great, another pencil fucker. Because one of my other leads said tentatively, absolutely. So I got to get hold of him this week and put him in pen. Bastard. But yes.
And then finally I just said to Mike, I said, okay, write it down. Unless I'm dead, I'll be there. So I set a reminder, the whole bit. I'll just spend that week in Cleveland, which, because I can. And then, it does. It gives me, and that's the whole point with this. I have no other trips
being a hobo.
Right. Yeah. The beauty of being a homeless by choice and a hobo. I have no other trips planned right now. Long story short, I was thinking about going to Arkansas for a couple of weeks. I'm not going to do that. I just don't. I'd rather save it for something else. But
right.
Spend a little time with my kids the weekend before my birthday and all this different stuff. But it's
nice. You were born?
I was. Yeah. My dad didn't pull out, so we've talked about that before.
We have,
and hopefully, our mom let him, so that all that good stuff. But yeah, it's nice. I mean, the main point, like I was telling Mike, is that I try to figure out if there's anything anywhere I need to be, because I don't really need to be anywhere.
Right.
And then if there is, then I'm like, okay, cool. So I've got like a bookmark type of thing, and I can plan around that. So yeah. You actually made my life easier. But then again, I know, surprisingly. But then I said to Mike, I'm like, because he said thank you. I'm like, the whole thanks is on this side of the table. Then I said, well, basically what it comes down to is, I believe this, if we are asked to lead, maybe it means we need to. And then
right.
I said to Mike, you trying to say something? He's like, well, but seriously, I can't, does it count the retreat that we I mean, that was a lead.
Yeah, sure. It's being of service to the program. So absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, as far as doing, I mean, an actual, it might be, I got 7 years, 8 years,
Oof, Jesus.
5, since I've led.
Wow.
Because I never got asked when I was in Wisconsin. I got asked the one time because we only, there was they did like what they called speaker meetings once a month, and that's it. And and it was like this again. So it's once a month, so it's only 12 people a year, and rotating around. I mean, I went to that meeting for 6 years, something like that. But yeah, I never got asked. I think that did I lead in Cleveland? I might have led in Cleveland in that time frame. Speaking of that, Pat asked me to leave the one time, but that might have even been before then. But I don't fucking know. It's been a long time. The fact that I can't remember means I probably need to.
Right.
But, okay, wait. What the fuck am I going to talk about?
Nah, I don't know. That's none of my fucking business. I've done my part.
No, I know. I'm just fucking around because that's the whole point too, that we talked about it plenty of times. So, yeah, what everyone, like when we were talking to John, he calls it sharing. The whole point is standing up in front of a room and telling your stories. What we're speaking of. Cleveland's called lead meetings, in Wisconsin they call them speaker meetings. Also, other places. California is the sharing, right?
It is.
Up and share. So whatever the case is,
share. Right. I know.
You're the share.
You're the share. Yes, exactly. That's if I recall correctly.
Okay.
I wasn't taking it very seriously, but I do remember that much.
But the whole point is that whatever people want to call it, I get to stand up in front of a room of other alcoholics and tell some stories.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But so cool.
Right. And we were talking. It's already just about September. Yeah, and I'm looking at my calendar as I was putting you in. Jesus Christ, next month is nuts, man. For me, I have got so much shit going on
in September.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just, whatever. I mean, we're, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but we're doing that sober curator thing in a couple weeks. I got a couple shows I'm going to. I got a company function at a baseball game. I'm going to Chicago in a week or so. Yeah, fuck, man. Just, and like I said, I'm chairing the my home group because it's anniversary month, so I'm getting leads together and doing all that and just fucking shit, man. What will we do if we get sober?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of funny. The funny part is that I'm here for another week, so I'm obviously here until next Saturday,
right?
And then the only thing is the 22nd, which is that Sunday, I'll run up to Wisconsin and have lunch with the kids. And then other than that, with it now the exception of going to Cleveland, I really don't have anything that I know of going on over the next few weeks. So,
nice.
But yeah, the sober curator thing. So the short story there, and I know we've talked about it on here before, but first of all, the sober curator, if you don't follow them or if you haven't looked at their website, pretty easy. It's just thesobercurator.com, their website. Same as on Instagram, Facebook, they're on LinkedIn, they're all over the place. Great community. There's content on there for anything you could think of. Okay, just go on there, take a minute, take a look. But we became part of the Sober Curator and Curators, which means we contribute content and that sort of thing. A little over a year ago. And basically now what they're doing is Elise works for a company that's kind of a media group. I'm not even sure exactly what it is, but basically what they're doing is they're in the process of starting a podcast, like a Sober Curator podcast, but also they're going to have all of us that are Sober Curators and podcasters. They're going to have us on again sporadically, depending on the topics and that sort of thing. But yeah, what is it? 2 weeks from Tuesday?
Right.
2 weeks from Tuesday? Week from Tuesday? I don't know. Whatever. 2 weeks from Tuesday. We've got to, we're going to record, they're going to start recording intros. But the cool part is so they're going to do the podcast. We're also going to have, we'll be advertising for the Sober Curator podcast. They'll be advertising for us and this and that. So it's all a give and take, but it's one other thing that we're going to be involved in. Not a big deal, but I don't know, just another way to be there. And I suppose give back a little bit again, right? Even though it's something that this shit is service, even though we don't, we look at it that way, sort of, but not really, because that's just what we do.
Being part of something bigger than ourselves.
Right. And speaking of that, bigger than ourselves, It's been a while, and I thought about this too because I was looking at the plays and the numbers. I look at it every morning anyhow, but um, it's been a little while since we've like whored ourselves out. Okay, so
Okay.
We're going to be whores for a couple of minutes. I will
Speak for yourself.
again. I will whore.
I do it every goddamn day.
Okay, so pouring out us as podcasters to try to get our podcast out there. So same thing as we always say, and the only thing we need your help with, once again, I'll say it. I keep hearing podcasters say that your donations keep this on the air, and I in their podcasts that I like, and I cringe every fucking time because I hate it. But I'm not going to go into that anymore. We do not solicit money from you guys anymore. We don't want it. I think I might have even taken it off our website. I might have taken a link off our website. I don't remember now. But
Like the buy us a coffee thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
I don't.
People can look for it. People can find it. If somebody works that fucking hard to try to donate to us now,
right?
Oh yeah, I didn't delete the account, but the bottom line is all that we want is for all of you that are listening, tell one person, okay?
Right.
Or if you follow us on Instagram, take one of our clips. I post a clip every single day. Take one of our clips, just add it to your story. It's a couple of clicks and add it to your story.
Yeah.
Not asking you to make a big deal out of it. You don't have to make a big fucking production about it. But there could be, and we don't think that we're great or anything like that. We're not pats on our back or anything like that.
Right.
But we do know that people listen to us. That's number one, and people get something out of it. Okay,
yeah, we've been told that.
Right.
That's the only way we know it.
Right, which blew our minds and still does.
Right.
But there's also a possibility, I think, that there could be other people out there. Even let them check us out if they don't like us. Fine. I won't even say fuck you to them. I'll say fine. We're not your cup of tea or your cup of coffee, whatever the fuck. But do us a favor and just tell one person. That's it. Or share. That's all you're gonna do.
That's it.
You don't have to beat your friend up and say, "Listen, motherfucker."
Hold them down and strap the headphones to their head. Duct tape the headphones to their head.
What are you willing to do? I guess if it works, it works. I don't give a fuck. If you get arrested, no, we're not bailing you out.
No.
But yeah, so just teasing about the whoring part of it, but we would appreciate your help if you listen to us on a regular basis, which there's a group that does. We know that.
Right.
Fucking tell somebody.
Right.
That's it.
Exactly.
All right. Enough of that. But okay, so we got all that stuff out of the way.
Right.
What do you think? Do you have a reading ready? I mean, I know it's a Thursday and things are fucking weird. And...
I'm used to that.
Right.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do have a reading.
All right. Your turn then.
Okay, then. This is actually from yesterday. Look at that. Yeah, August 28th. This is from God Grant Me. Read it and went, that's a pretty good one. I think I'll use it for tomorrow. So here we go. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Rumi. He was a 13th century poet, philosopher, dude. All right. It's up to us to search for happiness and joy in our recovery. To search for the beauty and the love that fill the recovery rooms. Why? Because we are needed. At times, all of us feel as if the world would not miss us if we were not around. But what about the new person who may see us having what he or she wants? What about this person's family members who are seeing him or her sober, maybe for the first time in years? We are needed. Our stories of transformation are needed. We need to look around our meeting rooms. If these people were not here, would we be here? We keep ourselves accountable by being accountable for and to others. We don't dare pretend that we have no importance. We must put any self-pity or self-hate aside and get busy being of service. We are here to help ourselves by helping others. This is what we do. Prayer for the day. Higher power, help me see the value that I hold. Help me to be of value to you, to the world, and to the still suffering addicts. Today's action. I will list all of my qualities that can be used to make this world a better place. I will make at least 2 other people smile today.
You know what? God, did I don't know. I ran across that one, and I was actually gonna write down that last line. That was a good reading. It made me think of a lot of things when I read it, and I just wrote down some notes. But I was gonna write down that make you smile. I was gonna bring it up tonight and just say, "Hey, Mike, did you make at least 2 other people smile today?"
Yeah, probably.
not on purpose, even if it's not on purpose. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Right. Just if you do it, the action.
Right. Well, and the other thing too is you're out amongst the people a little bit more than I am. But even with what I do, I mean, on the phone and stuff like that. I mean, if I have a decent, I mean, granted, I'm a fucking bill collector, okay?
Right.
And that's really what it is. I mean, again, yes, I work for a law firm. It's little, I'm working with business. It doesn't fucking matter. It's like the dude that picks up your trash is a garbage collector. If a person that tries to get money from other people is a fucking bill collector,
right? That's
what I do. But every once in a while, in a lot of cases, I don't get a lot of people that get, really fucking irritated at me. But you have a nice interaction with people.
Sure.
So, I don't know. Did I make the person smile? I don't think I made their day worse.
Right.
So maybe I, just by calling, hey, by the way,
you owe us money.
yeah. By the way, I'm here to take $5,000 from you. So, how you doing today? But you know what? In a normal circumstance, though, being out and about, and I forget when it was, handful of months ago, few months ago, I forget. Fucking time flies, obviously. But you were talking about walking into a gas station and,
right.
Just somebody saying something, whatever, and just smiling, at the person at the gas station, some random fucking person, or walking by somebody and giving them even a positive, the head nod or something like that.
Exactly.
It doesn't take that much work, right?
No, not at all. No, it's pretty damn easy, right. And I mean, I certainly remember the old me, fucking miserable bastard that I was. Again, misery loves company, right? So I'm fucking miserable. I'd try to make everybody around me miserable too, so I wouldn't be alone. I would walk into a store or whatever, and I catch somebody on the corner of my eye that they're moving towards the door too, and I'd get my ass in there and make sure that door closed. I wouldn't hold it for them. Fuck you. Right? I did. That's the way I live my goddamn life. And today, I'll stop. I'm in a fucking hurry. I'll stop and I'll stand there and hold the door because it's the next goddamn right thing to do.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and it doesn't take I almost was going to say little effort. It takes zero effort. I mean, you're there anyhow.
Right.
And, I mean, really, like you just said, and I'm glad you said that. Everyone's busy. Everyone's got to be someplace. Very few times, and I mentioned it. Recently we were talking about something. I said there's very few times that I'm out just meandering. Even if I'm going to do something on a weekend, go to a trail. I mean, there's a place I want to fucking be.
Right.
But when we think about it, like you said, to hold the door, what does that take? An extra 15 seconds, maybe?
If not that, not that long at all. Two. Maybe.
Well, let's say if a person is, I don't know, if they're a couple of steps, even
if they're 15 seconds behind me, the door's closing. But
that's a good point. So yeah, what 2 seconds?
But if they're 5 seconds behind me, I'm gonna stand there and hold the door. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the grand scheme of things, number one, it takes no effort and literally no time. When it comes down to it. But it's not that hard. And that the thing of it is, like you said, the old me. I think the only people that I smiled at the the liquor store people.
Oh yeah.
I was like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. Hey.
That's right. Give me my shit. You're gonna make me happy. Yay.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about this before, but I don't. I'm pretty sure that I never complained about anything when I was in a liquor store. I don't think I ever tried to cause a hassle or a rustle or
absolutely
anything like that.
not. No. I need my shit.
Yeah, Yeah, that's just kind of funny. I mean, I've been, obviously been in a restaurant, that causing a problem, but you can have a little bit more of a stern type of, I don't want to even say attitude, but a stern appearance in a restaurant.
Mm.
Maybe after your food serves, so people don't spit in it. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It just it again. The whole point is it just takes no fucking effort.
Right.
But a couple of things that I wrote down, and I had a couple of other thoughts on it when I read it, but I wrote down towards the end, it's talked about value that I hold,
Mm-hmm.
which I liked,
Mm-hmm.
being accountable to and for others. I like the
Mm-hmm.
fact that they put both of those. Um, but then the first part of it, searching for happiness and joy, we realize, and that those things are byproducts of doing all the right things that we always
Mm-hmm.
talk about. But the the key thing that like the second thing I wrote down was we are needed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was reading it, every time I read that, and I obviously never remember it, the whole reading until I start going through it,
Right.
but it literally, it reminds me of, well, two things, something we talked about on here, but always reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
know, when fucking, George,
George Bailey.
yeah, I was gonna say, God, as soon as I said George, I'm like, was that his name? But
Yes.
when he said that his life didn't matter if he was there, blah 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 blah, and then
Mm-hmm.
they go back and they show, it's like that ripple in time. You take that out, and
Right.
what happened?
The
Um,
butterfly effect.
exactly. But the other thing too, when maybe a year ago, I know I had a question that I brought up about, what if, even though we can't have regrets or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
what if you would have got sober like at your first run, rather
Sure.
than
Right.
15 years ago, 20 years ago, or whenever it was.
Sure.
And then, I said, I don't even know if I asked if, would that be cool? Would that be better? Are there even a mild thing? And you're like, you know what? The thing of it is that think of the people that, because you said this, think of the people that you've been able to help
Mm-hmm.
since you got sober this time.
Right.
And
Right.
then that's exactly what we're just talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
again, what if,
Yeah. Right. What if I'd have had another 15 years of helping people, making
right?
someone else's life better? Right. Yeah. Yeah. Again. Um, mm, yeah, that's dangerous ground though, because whatever. I apparently I needed that extra 10 years of misery and stories and whatever to help somebody else. Maybe
Right.
maybe there's someone I couldn't have helped without that extra 10 years of misery and heartache and being a dick and all that. So who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it is, and you're right. It's dangerous ground because you can look at it two different ways. So, okay, all the other people I could have helped in the time frame, but
Right.
maybe again, if you wouldn't have been on the right headspace with that, maybe you would have fucked people up in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Or think about all the people that you were able to help from April 22nd, 2010 forward.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen to those people? So
Right.
it goes on this whole other.
Right.
It's a spider web. Fuck it, it happened when it happened.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's and I think about all that stuff because they and I listen again to podcasts, you hear leads and all those sort
Mm-hmm.
of things. Both of us have been very open about the fact that, I mean, I had a doctor tell me that probably within weeks, maybe a month, at
Mm-hmm.
two, I would have been dead had I kept doing what I was doing. Okay,
Right.
so at 41 years old, and my son was 9. I never
Mm-hmm.
reconciled with my daughter at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she was in, oh God, what, 14 years ago, she would have been mid-20s at that
Yeah,
time.
it's about right.
Yeah. So, figure I would have left two kids behind, one that was 9, one that was in the mid-20s, and
Uh-huh.
the one in the mid-20s would have never had the opportunity to try to reconcile.
Right.
I never had that chance. But on top of that, you just think about the effect that it has on people. And once again, I don't think I'm some great human being, but
Mm.
you take a key individual out of people's lives, even
Mm-hmm.
taking away not just my son, but let's talk about Kathy, let's talk about mom, let's talk about
Right.
family members, and what a horrible fucking way to die too,
Mm-hmm.
of this disease.
Yep.
So I mean, because clearly, if it would have went to that point, I would have died alone. It would
Mm-hmm.
have just happened. Somebody would have got a
Right.
fucking phone call
Mm-hmm.
and my landlord would have knocked on my door, because my car didn't move in,
Right.
X number of days. And
Rent didn't get paid.
yeah, well, that didn't get paid even when I was
Yeah.
alive. So
Right.
it didn't fucking matter. Oh, he's dead. Well, yeah, I guess the rent's not getting paid this time either. But no, it's crazy. That's literally what this reading makes me think about. Like I said, back to It's Wonderful Life or
Mm-hmm.
It's a Wonderful Life. But the point is that yes, we are needed. We have a purpose, and everything that we is painful as some of the shit that we went through
Right.
was. Um, the main thing, you always say it, it has worth.
Yes,
right?
it does. Yes. Right. We are no longer worthless pieces of shit. We have worth because we're worthwhile to other people.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just not even just people that, not from the sober, even just the sober standpoint, but being there for, again, family and friends and the community and, this is the positive butterfly effect,
Yep.
rather
Absolutely.
than that negative one when we were out there doing all that shit. Again, like you say, you could have been 100 miles away in a hotel room all by yourself and you're hurting people,
Absolutely.
just crazy. It's, but you know what? I don't know. Everything happened when it needed to, and all in all, I'm glad that I'm on, on this side of it. What more?
Yeah.
What more could I fucking say, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
But the other thing that I wrote down is what about the new person? Because that is key, and that goes back to what we were talking about to begin with. I'm not one of those people. I've never been afraid to stand up, in front of a podium for anything. It just is
Right.
kind of what I've done for years, and I don't have a problem with public speaking. Although I get more nervous doing an AA lead than I do on a business side of things because to me it just matters more.
Sure.
Not
Sure.
that a business thing doesn't, but you know what I mean. I mean,
Oh
this
yeah,
is
absolutely. As our friend Danny says, it's life and death. There's no games in these rooms.
Yeah, exactly. And I never know what I'm going to talk about. And, I want to have fun up there. I want to, I want to enjoy myself, which I know I always will. But, I got to be careful because at that point, everything that we always talk about, we've always been told that, we might be that moment. Maybe that's somebody's first meeting. It's the first time they've been here and you get some fucking Yahoo up there like me, cracking jokes and, making noise and I've got a responsibility. We do, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I brought it up. Yeah, maybe I did. My home group, the church basement that we meet in, is going through renovations, and a couple weeks ago, right, it was like all shut down. We had to have it in another part, and it was, whatever. We had to figure out how to get in the other part and all this other shit, whatever. And I'm standing there with another home group member, and I had the keys, so we were the first ones there, and yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll just, and I said, no, not maybe we're going to figure out how to do this. If we got to fucking sit in the parking lot and have a meeting, we're going to do it because, again, I want the hand of AA to be there. For that, I'm responsible. I mean, some dude comes walking up. It's in the fucking schedule. It's his first meeting ever. I want to be standing there going, hey, this is us. This is what we do.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, it's not. It's a bunch of regulars coming in and hey, where's coffee and playing grab ass and whatever the fuck we're doing, enjoying our lives. And it's all good. But yes, there is a responsibility to that. Hey man, it's in the fucking schedule. We're having a fucking meeting. We got to sit in my car. We're having a meeting.
Right. Yeah, there was some place, and I can't remember. Maybe it was at the New Day Club, the one that I went to in Wisconsin.
Right.
And I forget what the deal was. Why? I don't know if it was a holiday weekend, whatever the deal was. I think I got there and there was like one other person there, and it might have been. I don't even know if it was a meeting that doesn't matter. But it's like nobody else was there and we're waiting around and all of a sudden, a couple of people that we had never seen,
Right.
before showed up. And they're like, are you guys, is this where the meeting is? Like, yeah, for whatever reason.
You guys the drunks?
Yeah, and I think maybe it was a weather thing. It could
Right.
have been in the winter or whatever, but I have no idea why. But we stayed there and we did our meeting, with whatever it was, 4 people,
Yeah.
And that's all it fucking takes. I mean, the point is like to your point. I guess I mean, I know you've said it before, but it just kind of really clicked. Is it's in the schedule, and if somebody's really not only looking for, but is in a position where they need a meeting,
they're fucking desperate.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. We understand that desperation more than anybody else. Absolutely. Right. I mean, my home group's on a Sunday. There's this fucking football game every year on a Sunday that, people, I mean, when we Super Bowl Sunday, man, we have a fucking meeting. There's usually, we're lucky if we get 10 people, but, but we have a meeting,
Right.
And I've missed some of them because I've actually hosted Super Bowl parties in my sobriety. But yeah, if I've got nothing else going on, I'm fucking at the meeting, man. Yeah, absolutely. If Christmas falls on a Sunday, we have a fucking meeting, whatever it is. That's one thing about that group. We don't fucking shut down for anything. We did for COVID and because the church shut down. Right. Everything fucking shut down. But, as soon as we could, we started doing Zoom meetings and yeah. Again, I want the hand of aid to be there. For that, I am fucking responsible. Yay.
Right. Well, and I know I've talked about it on here, but I showed up at it was when we were at the Keating Center, and I rode my bike up to a meeting. It was by the time I think I was looking for work and whatever. My meeting schedule got all fucked up. That was probably when I was working at that factory,
All right.
at second shift. So it was probably like a Saturday or Sunday when I didn't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my meeting schedule got all fucked up and flipped around and whatever.
Right.
And I remember it was over by maybe it wasn't in I don't remember where it was, but I remember walking in and I walked downstairs. I'm like, "Is this the meeting?" They're like, "Yeah, this is a women's meeting." Um, I just a couple of older ladies look like they've been around for a while.
Mhm.
Okay, no big deal. And I was walking out, and one of them, kind of trotted out after me.
Mhm.
She's like, do you really need a meeting? Because I could help you find one.
Mhm.
And I said, no. I said, I'm good. I said, I appreciate two things. I appreciate the fact that you asked.
Uh-huh.
But I said, I was just trying to, I had some extra time. I was kicking around and had, wanted to, grab an extra meeting type of thing. I
Right.
said, no, I'm good. I might have been going to one that night or whatever it was.
Sure.
And but just wanted to catch an extra one in the afternoon. But it was nice because she's just like, hey, do you need a meeting?
Right.
And kind of inside of me, I was kind of laughing like, well, fuck, man, no, I'm good. But then when you think about it, you're like, well, okay, great. The fact that somebody thought enough to ask that question.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, right. I mean, that's what we're fucking supposed to do. No, you can't stay for this one, but I'm going to help you anyway if I can.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do, man. Yeah, I believe that's attraction rather than promotion.
Right. Well, and the other thing that's cool, and I mean, just in general, when you think about it, I mean, how nice is it? Because again, kicking around like I'm doing and stuff like that, I don't feel, this week was it was a stressful week. It's been work's been workish, and same thing I was talking about. Things are a little bit slow, and this all has tied around my my growth with the company and my money. And I woke up this morning. I swear to God, I was fucking wiped out, and I didn't think I slept bad, but I had to have. It was almost like I was tired to the point where I almost like felt almost nauseous. And I don't get nauseous. I just fucking don't like
Right.
ever. But I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. But I don't get to the point necessarily where I need a meeting, but I was the other night again. Rough day at work, this and that, kind of slow, whatever. I was fucking irritated. So what I did was I drove into downtown. It's 10-15 minutes away to get in the main part of downtown. And I walked for a half hour,
Right.
And I'm like, God, I'm like, I'm not gonna try to search for a meeting. I'm like, fuck, I have no money on me anyhow. I really would feel bad. I have a note to get cash because I would feel bad to walk into a meeting and not leave something in the basket. Just these days. I mean, there was a point when I barely had enough money to do it, but
oh, sure.
But I didn't want to just sit here and do nothing, so I went and I fucking walked.
Right.
So I mean, the good thing is that I don't get necessarily to those points where I need a meeting, but I'll tell you this much: if I needed a meeting, I know for a fucking fact, even if I would have had to drive a half hour, I can find a meeting.
Sure.
And that's the beauty of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have friends all over the world.
Right. We do.
That we've never met, but if we walked into a room of Alcoholics Anonymous anywhere in the state, the country, the world, we would be welcomed and we would feel at home, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's just fucking crazy,
Absolutely.
But, and I've experienced, and I know you have too. You used to, when you drove and when you were driving truck, didn't you? You went to meetings every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while. Right. Well, especially when I started, because I would be out for several weeks and I would take a 36-hour reset. Whenever I did that, I would try to find a meeting somewhere. I'd call the local central office and say, hey man, I'm out at this fucking truck stop. Can somebody come pick me up?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You had a couple of people come pick you up, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. That's again, amazing. I mean, really amazing.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, all of that, the reading itself. I mean, the bottom line to all this stuff is that we obviously we have value, we have worth. Everything we
Mm-hmm.
went through, obviously has worth, and yes, happiness is the byproduct and all that stuff. But I mean, how great is it that all we got to do again, follow some steps, be a decent person,
Right.
say some fucking prayers, and I get to live a relatively comfortable life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right. And talking about in the rooms and stuff, I am going to say the opening line is, it's up to us to search for happiness and joy in our recovery, to search for the beauty and love that fill the recovery rooms. We've got to look for it, because trust me, I can walk into a church basement and see fucking misery.
Right.
There's some miserable motherfuckers in the rooms. I have been one. Um, but it's up to me to walk in there and look for the good and the joy and the love and the happiness and all that, right? Because sometimes it's not totally evident. I mean, that's another thing, I sit at my home group, I sit in the front, I'm sitting at the ticket table. If you guys don't know, Cleveland Recovery, they do lottery, they do raffle tickets. Gambling again.
Right.
I've always wondered if there's an open bar at GA meetings, but
Yeah.
anyway, it's a Cleveland thing. So I do the tickets, so I'm sitting right there in the front, and it's a responsibility. I may not be in the greatest fucking mood. I might be tired. I might whatever, but it's up to me to fake that shit a little bit sometimes. Even 14 and a half years into this, man. Hey, asshole, people are walking in. They want to see a little joy and a little happiness. Try to show it, even if it's not real.
Right. Yeah. And it is. I mean, that's I'm trying to think if I'm sure I've walked into meetings before where people were in fucked up moods or whatever.
Sure.
I've been to some meetings that that I've chose not to go back to because
Right.
of the I don't know the mood or the atmosphere or whatever. Nothing terrible, but
Sure.
certain things it just kind of it I don't know rubs you the wrong way. It doesn't sit with you right, whatever the case is. And I mean, thankfully I know better. I've been to different meetings, and
Right.
it wasn't the only one I went to. But I mean, how many people have we talked to? Some of the guests that we have on that tried out AA and it wasn't their deal, and that's fine. I mean, and these are people with long-term sobriety, so nothing wrong with what they're doing. But it's funny to hear these stories of people with just these bad experiences, and they're like, Jesus Christ, this is fucked up.
Right.
But I think wasn't it G that told us the first meeting she went to was fucked, but she tried, and then finally found she's been to whatever. She's been sober for 4 years now.
Right.
And she goes to the same the same home group.
Right.
Whereas Gary ended up, accidentally going to the one, and not really accidentally, but he was going to walk away, and the guy kind of said, "Hey, you here from the meeting?" It's same deal. I mean that's been his meeting for as long as he's been sober. So there's just as many success stories as there are weird ones. But
Sure.
yeah, I mean, for anyone out there, if you're not a 12-step or anything like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are thinking about going to a meeting and you go to one and it doesn't feel like it fits. And I'll say that it fits. It's not that you don't. It's that the meeting doesn't fit you.
Right.
Go to another one.
Yep.
Because man, I've been to some great meetings in different areas, and where they're just fun. They're relaxing. They're welcoming. They're warm and they're comfortable, and it's just they're nice. There's plenty of them out there. So
yep, there are.
But no, that was a good reading. I'm glad you grabbed that one. And like I said, I know I was gonna write down that line about if you had smiled at
make two people smile today.
Yeah, make two people smile today. God damn it, I got to do that. But so anything else? But I mean, in general, and the reading was good. But anything else?
I think that covered it.
Okay, so real quick here, and I mean, obviously, it's. I mean, Mike and I are of the opinion we've talked about it plenty of times. Yes, this is Labor Day weekend. It's the whatever it is. It's a party weekend, just because any fucking holiday could be, any day could be a party day and a party weekend. But
they have been
right. But it's just these type of weekends. I mean, they tend to be. It's the quote unquote end of summer. Blah blah blah. This and that. But Mike, you always put it best. You're just like another day on the calendar, blah, 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 right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just, it's another day on the calendar, man. There's no pressure. There's no pressure to do anything other than stay sober. So do that. Yeah. I pulled into town today, and, the air show is here in Cleveland every Labor Day, and Blue Angels were doing their thing up in the air. It's pretty fucking cool, man. And there's going to be people down at the lakefront this weekend, partying their asses off. I'm not going to be one of them. My house is close enough to the lakefront. I can go out on my back deck and look at the planes fly over. I'm good with that.
Well, and it was, and that is the thing, I mean, if whatever, Labor Day weekend is Labor Day weekend. If anyone out there is newly sober, this is the first holiday, or if you're still having some issues with being around partying and shit like that, once again, you don't have to do that. Find something else to do. One of the reasons that I booked an extra week here is because I wanted to be here over Labor Day weekend, so I had more time to kick around and go see some shit. And I'm guessing, well, if the weather holds, it looks like from like tomorrow through like next Friday on the weather app, it's like a chance for rain every fucking day. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because then I'm starting to look at next Saturday when I got pack on my shit. I'm like, fuck. But anyhow, I'm hoping, because I have 3 days to kick around. This shit's beautiful. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I don't know. It is. You don't go out there and push yourself if there's any question. It's not fucking worth it.
It's not.
It isn't.
Nope.
Right.
Yeah, and it just reminded me, my first sober Labor Day, I went over to Dan's and John's and Pat's. All three of them are gone now. But yeah, that was my first, on my own. They invited me over, said, hey, we're having a cookout and we're hanging out and, stop on by. And I did. And it was my first normal kind of whatever glimpse at, look what you can do when you're sober. You can still go to a cookout and still hang out and whatever. It was a good time. So yes, just reminded me of that.
Right. Well, what's funny is next on my list was, do you remember what you did for the first Labor Day weekend when you were sober?
That was it.
Well, what's funny is I wrote that down. I made the note a couple of days ago when obviously I was, considering, realizing the Labor Day weekend. But then the Blue Angels thing, I saw my friend Misty used to cut my hair. Melissa, Johnny's old girlfriend, Chris had posted pictures about it. There was one other person. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's right. Because then it reminded me, I'm like, that's right. Because we talked about it last year for sure, maybe even the first year. That's what you did. And I thought about the same thing. I'm like, fuck, man, all three of those guys are fucking dead now.
Yep, they are. I'm
like, God damn it. But yeah, shit. The whole thing with Pat, I mean, I know we didn't know, as far as I know, no one ever heard, I guess a wrap up to that of what the deal was. But his birthday was just the other day. It came up on Facebook. I'm like, motherfucker, that I'll be going through my memories. And, he commented, he used to comment a lot, obviously on my posts. I know on yours too.
Yep.
So I see him all the time, and I see mom's comments too, which kind of make me, and again, those are nice, you usually see some nice things, but yeah, fucking thing with Pat, I don't know. We don't have to get into it, but
nope.
The whole thing, it just, I'm like, yeah, it was his birthday the other day, but
it was.
But yeah, and I don't remember what I did that first year. I'm sure I was down by mom's. I'm doing, she's probably working me, fucking working my ass off or something like that, so
making you take the swing off the porch.
Well, you know what? Actually, that year, because that's when that fall is when Larry showed me. He started showing me how to do everything, how to take care of this and that, and he was getting at that point. That's not when he didn't get like really sick until January when he went into the hospital. But physically, he was becoming unable to do some of those things. It's like, hey, I'm going to show you how to do some of these things. So yeah,
put the boy to work.
Yeah, but he did. I mean, I didn't at that time. I was so glad to get out of the fucking Keating Center.
Right.
We were still living in the dorms.
Oh, yeah.
Until November, right? When we went to the 3-quarter house?
The end of October, I think, something like that. Yep.
Yeah, right around that area. But yeah, so we were, I was happy to get out, and now I could go for the entire weekend. I'm like, fine, I'll go get out for Saturday and Sunday. I'll stay overnight. I'll get up. You can work my ass off. I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
Beats the fuck out of sitting in that goddamn building. Again, helped saved our lives and all that stuff, but I didn't want to sit there all goddamn weekend. So.
Right.
But yeah, so anything, I mean, except for your radio thing, you got any plans for the weekend for the Labor Day thing or no?
No, not a goddamn thing. Thank God. Right. Because like I said, it's, it's starting, man. Yeah, I start my chair because the first is on Sunday. So,
Oh, yeah.
yes, I have Michelle leading for me.
Oh, no shit. That's cool.
Yep. And yeah, it starts the month of busyness.
Right. Yeah, and September is National Recovery Month.
No,
I think.
don't know.
Pretty sure. I'm actually, yeah. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Oh, another thing. With William Moyers, that was the reason that they wanted to release his book then. But so Dr. Sarah sent me a text yesterday.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, I didn't know if this would be of interest. William Moyers already appeared on Dr. Drew's podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of interesting. But then I read the description. They already announced this book too. The episode was like a week ago. I'm like, yeah, motherfuckers. I'm like, we weren't going to be able to do it till like this Sunday was supposed to be when we released the episode. But maybe they changed their tune. But I'll listen to it this weekend when I'm kicking around. But I don't know. So Dr. Drew, I guess, quick side note. I think I know your opinion of now I know your opinion of him. Not the greatest.
I kind of like some of his stuff. A lot of his recovery stuff is, the psychological angle of it. And we all know that I don't go for that.
Right.
Right. And I mean, again, not necessarily him because, the statistics, the odds, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But seems like a whole lot of people have died under his watch. I'll just put it that way. So, yeah, again, some of his opinions on stuff I agree with and whatever and blah, 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 blah. And of course, he was, I listened to Adam Carolla for a long, long time and they were partners from the Loveline days and all that stuff. So, and a lot of his stuff when COVID was happening, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense and blah, 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 blah. But as far as his recovery stuff, I don't know. I think he puts a lot of dangerous bullshit out there. Is that clear enough for you?
Yeah, and that's what I thought, and I remember the whole Loveline stuff, and that's when I got to know him, and I think Adam, at that time, and that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
25, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But then, because he didn't Dr. Drew do the celebrity rehab shit?
Yep, he did.
Okay, so that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I watched any of it. I knew a little bit about it. Yeah, same thing as everything you said. But I'm going to listen to the episode because there was something in the description that said something. I don't know if it was problems or something. It talks about 12-step stuff. So we'll see how it runs. But then I'm like, oh yeah, and also the release of his book, and I'm like, son of a bitch. But you know what? It is what it is. We're going to have him on October 12th. Will be the release of that episode with William Moyers. So obviously things to look forward to. And did we mention on here that Dr. Sarah's coming back up on the 13th of September?
I don't know that we announced the date, but yep.
Okay,
we knew she's coming back. We did talk about it last week when she couldn't be on.
Oh, yeah, God, that's right. I was like, shit, that was only a week ago.
It was last week.
And then we have, we scheduled now Breeze. So Breeze and Carly were on with us. God, I don't even remember how long ago now.
Yeah, but year and a half, maybe.
Hasn't been, fuck, man.
It's been a while. Definitely a year.
Yeah, I'm sure you're more than right. So September 27th, Breeze is coming back on. So she's doing a whole bunch of different stuff. I mean, she kind of took I don't know that she's playing in the band anymore, but she's doing this. She's doing a podcast, doing some other things, doing a lot of stuff on the easy for me to say musician side of things,
the
but
musical side.
Exactly. Goddamn, thank you. Musical side of things.
Sure.
But so we'll have her back on. But if nothing else, she's fucking fun to listen to with her Australian accent. So join us for upcoming episodes of Sober Not Mature.
That's right.
On that note,
yes.
I think, right? Right?
Absolutely. Yes. Well, stay tuned for more Sober Not Mature right after these words from our sponsors.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
Yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So we wanted two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. So, but from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Sponsors is
yes.
Makes me laugh every time. You know, it's funny. The funny part is, real quick on the ads, is that sometimes, depending on where I'm at, sometimes all the ads don't play. So it only played our promo. But I mean, I know they play. It just they usually drop one in the middle. But yeah, I like the way that you say that, and the fact that you do, and it just sets people up, and I don't know, makes me laugh also. But
good.
All right, so
well, there's one down. I made somebody smile.
Yeah, well, you know what? The funny thing is that when I listen back to our episodes, I laugh a fucking lot on here, and it's not. If anyone's wondering, it's not fake. All this shit just makes me laugh. This is a. Again, I just explained a few minutes ago that I woke up today. I was wiped out. I mean, fucking tired, almost nauseous. I had a great day. Made up for a lot of things today, a big money day and all that stuff. Cool. But it's still, but God, by the time all said and done, it's like 2 hours left in the day, and I'm like, and I gotta do this fucking podcast. And I'm like, seriously, it was just one at that point. I'm like, I fell off, but I get done and I ate, because I ate lunch. That didn't help earlier, but I ate. And then I'm just like, you know what? Every fucking time we come on here, and I mean that in a bad way, but it doesn't matter what's going on. Shit goes well, Yeah. Even when, like last week, okay, so we had a technology issue. What does it fucking matter? We had a great time,
Yep.
And we're gonna have a lot of fun when Dr. Sarah comes on. Worth the wait, everything that we said. But so my point is that I laugh on here because I'm having fun. It has nothing. I suppose I could. I don't know. Maybe nobody would know if I was faking a laugh. You would, and I don't think you'd put up with it if I was trying to fake laugh.
What the fuck are you doing?
You'd be like, that doesn't work. Stop it. But no, I mean, it just you made me smile, and you do all the time. I do. I have a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. But so a couple of things I forgot to tell you last week. So you've been to like a campsite, had water at like a park where it's kind of like that campsite rusty well water type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the water's like here.
Yeah, right.
Which, I mean,
it's well water.
Exactly. Which is fine. But I mean, I've had like, we lived in Wales, it was well water, this and that. If there's a softener or whatever, I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
But the funny part is that, the first day, it's to the point when you turn it on, like you could smell like the rust and stuff, and it's fine.
What's the iron?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It is what
it's good for you.
But I buy bottled water anyhow to drink. It's not a big deal.
Right.
But I'm like, ooh, for the coffee, I'm like, I'm just gonna buy an extra case of water and I'm gonna make my coffee with bottled water. Just save the pot, do whatever better for you.
Right.
Well, after the first day, I wasn't even through the entire day. I went through like 9 bottles of water. I'm like, fuck it. I said,
Right.
my coffee's getting made with rust water, and I have ever since, so it doesn't fucking matter. But
Right.
so the other thing, so I think had to have been the first day, whether it was Saturday or Sunday. I was sitting in here, and I heard like almost like a little bit of a tapping type of thing, and it was like on the roof. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I kind of was looking, and the roof that's on this place, because you can see it on the porch, like the overhang, the porch itself, the overhang.
Yeah.
It almost looks like aluminum siding, so it's a steel type of roof,
Okay.
which it must be a thing around here because in the driving around that I've done, I've actually seen a lot of homes, cabins, barns, all that stuff with these, steel aluminum siding
metal
looking
roofs.
roofs. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no fucking shit. I was sitting in here one day, and I don't remember if it couldn't have been when I was working, but doing something, and I hear this bang, and what it sounded like is somebody like beat the fucking side of the house, and I'm like, what the fuck? I walk outside, and then it clicks. More than likely, because I don't know, it's not like I crawled up there, but I mean, there's trees all over the fucking place. I'm sure what happened is a branch broke off and fell on the roof.
Right.
And it's steel. And so I've heard that every once in a while. That was the biggest one, but scared the living fuck out of me. Now, good thing is that that was the first time it happened. It was light out. Had it happened at night, I would have fucking freaked out. Because I mean, you don't know.
Right. Oh, yeah. You're out there in the fucking wilderness, man.
Right. And it kind of cracked me up. But yeah, and then the one last thing on that, my car, where I parked my car, because I've got it in a point where, because the driveway is kind of slanted, I had it backed in when I unloaded, but you're kind of on a hill, and that's never good for the transmission to sit like that. So I've got it parked in an area where it's as flat as it could be, but it's kind of under this, it's a tall thing, but a pine tree. My car is it's just a mess. Fucking mess. But I mean, it's not a huge deal. But the last thing is that I kicked around, went to place. I'm gonna go see some more shit. I'm telling you, I mean, there's national forests around. There's all these fucking places I went. I hit the lower end of the Smoky Mountains. I mean, literally just the lower end. I would have went on the other side. It would have been like 2.5 hours to drive up there.
Right.
It was like 1 hour and 20 just to get where I went. And it was nice. The trail was cool, it was fine, whatever. But the other one I went to on Sunday, and I'm looking at it, and it's this whole thing. It's like these reviews are saying this is more like rock climbing than a trail. I'm like, how can that be? And I was like, how can that fucking be? Then they're like, oh yeah, it's really steep going up. 3/4 of it is climbing up to this thing, and then it plateaus. And then this other, not the review, but the description of the trail is like, yeah, if you're afraid of heights, you might want to pick another trail type of thing. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go fucking try it. And no shit, I mean, it's this trail, I swear to God, it's like walking up, I don't even know how many floors, probably 4 flights, five stories or something like that, walking up. And I mean, to the point where there's big step ups and stuff like that. It's not this like flat path going up. It was one of the ones like halfway up. It's like I'm taking breathers as I'm going up, because like I said, old Buick, remember?
Yep.
But then on top of that, I'm like, this is going to be worse coming down, And so I get all the way up there, and I'm walking, and I'm trying to figure out where this trail goes, because literally it is. It's like you're on these rock things, and all these pictures I took is fucking beautiful, but it's these rocks and bluffs and shit that you're up there. You're not climbing like really tight or anything like that, but a couple of areas I'm like, God, where am I? I'm like, oh, I go around here to get around. So I finally got to this one place, and I'm like, I don't know how to get around. I can't get through this one area. Then it looks like you'd have to step down, kind of like step over this opening, and then kind of like walk around almost like you were on the ledge of a building. And then, because I'm looking at All Trails is the app I have. And at that point, I'm like 3/4 through the trail. And I'm like, I'm not at the end. And I'm like, I'm looking at it. And part of me is like, fuck it. You only live once, right? The whole fucking, I'm like, yeah, you live every day. You only die once, right?
Right.
I'm like, fuck that. I went back. Done. So, boys and girls, as much of I'm more of a, I'm not a thrill seeker, but I've got bigger balls in some cases than I used to. I'm careful when I'm doing this shit. I'm clearly not going to take these chances, but I'm like, I don't know how to get around this. And I'm like, I probably could have.
Right.
But I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
So yes, going back down. Oh my God. I'm taking my time because, so here's the thing. So walking up, you figure when you're walking up something, you got, you could lean, you're holding on to stuff, you step up in this whole thing, you got lean forward, equilibrium, all these different things. Coming down, I've got bad knees and gravity. Okay.
Right.
So as I'm walking down, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then trying to figure out, like, can I race on this tree? Literally, because I can't. Again, knowing my limitations, I could, but I could fuck up my knees. I don't want to jump down even if it's only a couple of feet, because
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't need to fuck up my knee.
Right. In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere, just in general, because at this age, one of us fucks up our knees. It's like, I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. But it was great. It was fucking beautiful. I didn't walk that far, but man, it's a fucking workout when getting up there. But yeah, it was just fucking cool. But I mean, all the way down, same thing. Down these fucking gravel roads and dirt roads and shit like that. Not a bad road, but I'm telling you, man, I've kind of eyeballed a couple of other places. I think I might go to this area in Georgia because I've already, obviously, North Carolina. I've been. I went up by the Smokies, went into Tennessee. That's where I was in the Cherokee National Forest, which also runs up through North Carolina. But there's a whole nother national forest down in Georgia. Again, not that far, 45 minutes to an hour away from here. So
All right.
I can't say it enough that I'm speaking of mind blowing again. It's the pictures. I said it before. They don't even do justice to just being out there and just just standing there. And again, just standing there going, fucking wow. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I having fun, but we already know that. So, all right. On another note, while I was kicking around, I listened to the Moon Zappa interview. Okay. Well, two things. The thing I want to mention first is, did you hear at the end when she said happiness is a byproduct?
Yeah, I did.
And that was like literally the last few minutes of the episode or something like that. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. I'm like, it's fucking awesome. So here's the thing. First of all, I don't know that I've ever, maybe I have. I don't remember ever hearing her utter a word in my life. I probably have, but I don't know. Don't know much about her. I know a little bit about her just on the outskirts, this and that. But yeah, the thing of it is, and there's a point to this clearly, but everything she was saying, it's like, I want to hear more. I want to hear more. I need to hear more. It's like you hear this little nugget of the story. I'm like, that's fucked up. But what else happened?
Right.
So I looked it up, and Audible has her books on Audible.
Cool.
So yeah, I think at the first of the month is when I get. I think this will be my last month of free books. So hers is going to be the next one that I grab. So
nice.
I'm like, fuck that. And I'm like, I want to listen to it. She was really interesting. It was the other thing, and that's why I wanted to ask you. So, did you feel? I felt like Mark that might be the most, I don't know, humble that I've heard him on any of his episodes when they were talking about their relationship. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly they have a past, and so right, it wasn't just like some rando that he's never met before. I mean, he's had sex with her. So yeah. So it was humility and just an intimacy that he usually doesn't have with other people, because clearly they were intimate. So yeah. No, it was really good. That's why I wanted you to listen to it. It was really good.
Yeah, it was just when he was like his, for anyone who's never listened to Marc Maron, first of all, what the fuck is wrong with you? You should.
Right. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck, literally. But he always does this open just with himself. They're all pre-recorded type of things. Well, everything is, but it'll be recorded from who knows when, maybe a couple of weeks prior, and then he does this. I don't know, a little opening, a rant. He talks about what's going on, but he also leads into the episode. So he preempted all that, saying that they had talked about it. But it got deep in there too, and he goes, I want to make amends. I want to apologize for that one thing. And I'm like, I'm listening to this. I'm like, this is fucking awesome, But you're right. I mean, having that deep of the intimacy, I guess, and that's what it was. The intimacy that they had, and that their relationship was, and the fact that they hadn't sat down in a setting like that in I guess since, right?
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, he said they had run into each other here and there, but they had never actually spent that much time together and talked about shit and whatever. And they did it on the microphones. It was very cool to listen to.
Oh, it was. I really. I mean, I enjoy him in general, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a great episode. But he said that I think he said in one part he goes, I was really glad to find out that I didn't make it into that part of the
The
that.
book.
Yeah, and she's like, the way that she put that I thought was cool. She said there's certain things that she goes that are really, really, however she put it, really deep.
Mm-hmm.
That she just keeps to herself. It's really deep and really personal.
Right.
That she doesn't feel it's her place, and like everyone else, that's written books like that. She said that, obviously, people get to get upset anyhow. There's certain
Mm-hmm.
things that I've said that, people got upset about anyhow. But literally, and like I said, that my point of saying that there had to have been a point is the fact that, I tell you what, if people listen to that interview and got even close to the reaction I did, she's going to sell a lot of fucking books,
Mm-hmm.
because she gave just enough.
Right.
It's just like, okay, here's little sprinkles of everything that happened. And thanks for coming in. Nice talking to you. Bye. Like, what the? Wait. But yeah, immediately after when I got done listening to it, when I had stopped wherever I was, I looked it up right away. I'm like, fuck, yep, that's the
Cool.
next one. So I think hopefully if not this weekend, but by Monday or Tuesday, I should have that one. So, but yeah, I mean, I think I would have listened to it either way, because I mean, I don't know anything about her. I'm sure I would have either way, but yeah, I mean, again, I appreciate the suggestion, because it was it was good. It was really really good. So the one real quick thing on audiobooks, what's your opinion of Rob Lowe?
I mean, he's all right, I guess. Not huge fan. I'm not going to go watch something just because he's in it.
Right.
Right. I mean, I know he's one of us.
Right.
He's got quite a bit of time. I know he got sober real young. Yeah, I just saw something. I don't know. It was I think a reel or something. He was talking about sobriety. I clicked on it and listened for a minute. Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, when I had I think I had said, and it might have been last episode, I'm like, remind me of the audiobook I'm listening to. I'm listening to his biography.
Oh, okay.
Because again, I know that I want to listen to at some point. Robert Downey Jr. has one, because these are all people that I've heard. Obviously, people have interviewed on different podcasts,
right?
And I mean, I knew he was sober, but I tell you, his story is interesting. I mean, as as a child, and how he get into acting, and I mean, he lived right down the road from Emilio and Charlie Sheen, and he met those guys like right away, and then Chris Penn and Sean Penn. All these fucking people were in his neighborhood. I'm like, really?
Right.
And then he starts telling these stories. He's talking about something, but he's like, oh yeah, and that was so and so, and I'm like, holy fuck. He's met people randomly,
right.
And it's to the point they went through he spent a lot of time talking about The Outsiders, which was really interesting.
Cool.
I mean, I know enough about the book, I know enough about the movie, but that's what they were talking about, the filming and all that stuff, with Francis and how he was and how everything came together and how everyone got their parts. And I was just I don't know, it's interesting. I think I might be a little bit over halfway through that one, but just curiosity. I didn't know what you thought about him. Again, is it actor? I mean, there's been some movies in TV shows. He was in Parks and Rec, and he was in plenty of things that I saw. He's not one of those actors that I'm like, oh, I need to see everything that Rob Lowe's been in. But just very interesting, and has not even gotten to his sobriety yet. But he's leading up to it. He's talking about his partying and his women and all these different things, and his foreshadowing. And it's like, oh, yep, all this stuff became public, and I fucked up my life, and all this different stuff. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, Moon is definitely my next book. So
cool.
All right, so I'm just gonna click back. God, go back to I don't even. I'm gonna read this because I haven't read this recently. So from God Grant Me, they were talking about craziness in life and trying to calm ourselves when that happens. What do you do, Mike, to calm yourself when the shit gets crazy?
What do I do to calm myself?
I know. I thought it was a thinking one, if nothing else. I thought.
Right. Well, thankfully, shit doesn't get too crazy anymore. I just, yeah. that's kind of it. I don't know. I mean, I know crazy because I was in the middle of it for a very long time. And my life really doesn't get all that crazy when things get a little more churned up than normal. I just I let them whirl. I basically, I accept the fact that shit's getting crazy. It's the cool thing is it's not me getting crazy anymore. So I could just go, whoa, there's some craziness going on. Again, the whole serenity prayer, is there something I could do about it? If there isn't, okay. And knowing the difference, if there's something I could do to make the situation better or calm the craziness down or whatever, I try to help. And if there isn't anything I could do and it's just going to be fucking crazy because that's what it is, I let it, but I don't allow it to be in my life or, it doesn't, I don't allow it to affect me anymore. I'm certainly not getting drawn into it because I don't want to live that way anymore. And I know that I don't have to live that way anymore. So, yeah, that's kind of a weird answer, but, right.
No, it's not. No, I don't think so.
Right. I mean, I don't engage in craziness at all anymore. So if there's craziness going on, if there's something I can do to stop it or, help it or whatever, I will. But if I can't, then I just fucking let it be crazy and walk away. And it's either going to continue to be crazy or it's going to burn itself out. But, yeah, probably going to burn itself out. And I know that. So I don't have to engage with it. And I certainly don't have to become crazy because of it. There's craziness everywhere. And, again, I don't live my fucking life that way anymore. So, I don't engage in craziness. That's what I do.
Right.
I don't engage.
And it's kind of funny because it was I didn't think about it until and it was one of the first things on my list, my new items, so I don't even know when I wrote this down a while ago, but I think when I wrote it down, I was thinking about when, like me personally, when I'm feeling crazy, or when I feel the craziness or being overwhelmed type of thing. I think that's how I looked at it.
Okay.
But I mean, I like the fact because you brought the outside part to it, which I mean, I know we've talked about that briefly before, but I mean, what a great way to look at that is that not allowing it. I like the fact that you said it's going to burn itself out.
Yeah.
It's like a toddler. Sooner or later, that toddler's going to get so fucking tired. He or she's going to go to sleep. I mean, they can't physically just keep running and screaming or whatever the hell goes on.
Right.
But not getting drawn into it, realizing you don't have to be a part of it, realizing you don't have to live that way. And again, walking away. We have that ability to walk away from that shit. But on a personal side of things, and as I just read this now, I thought about when I took a walk the other day,
Right.
Because and I was, and I guess maybe I'll look at it this way. I don't get, this is not really a word. I always say that I'm not overwhelmed. Sure as fuck, never underwhelmed. I'm just whelmed at times.
Right. Yes.
And just right in the fucking middle. But I'm like, usually I'm on the lower end. If you had if whelmed was in the middle, I'm on the lower end and into the upper edge of underwhelmed.
Yes.
Because I always get shit going on. I always do. We all do. And
right.
I'm not fucking unique. But I refuse, and I don't know when I started. Well, I'm sure it's been since I've been sober, but I refuse to ever say that I'm overwhelmed because I don't believe in it. I just don't. I don't think that. Well, maybe it's part of we're never given more. Blah blah blah. People say God never gives you more, but I do believe that. Now that we've got clear heads and things like that, I think that we are given enough. We're never given more than we can handle.
Right.
If we can handle it, then it's us, not the outside forces. But if something weird goes on, then I got to check myself. What can I do? Do I need to sit here? I don't want to dwell. I don't want to stew. And the only way that these days that I know how to do, and I've done it before in the past, is do something. I'm not a kickboxer. I'm not going to go, play in a punching bag or anything like that. I'm not that type of exercise.
No, you got to go climb a fucking mountain.
Yeah, but I mean, when I do that, I'm never in a bad mood when I'm doing all that
Right.
stuff. But
Right.
literally, I drove. It's like 15 minutes away,
Mm-hmm.
to get downtown. In this little town, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a cute little town. It's an old town,
Sure.
and I parked my fucking car and I walked. You
Yep.
know, and I'm like, okay, so I get to go look at some shit. Nothing. It's nothing big. It's nothing beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But I just went and I walked, and I get to think, and I get to burn,
Yep.
some of the shit out of me, and I
Yep.
get to just take care of some of that energy rather than going fucking nuts on myself. I mean, I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
hit anything. I don't need to do
Right.
that these
Right.
days, but I also don't need this nervous fucking energy,
Yeah.
Um, but I've said it before on here, and I know I've said it outside of this thing that we do here,
Mm-hmm.
is that worst case scenario, if shit's weird, I fucking go to bed.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah.
I'm done for the night.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you asked the question about the craziness, right? And
Right.
whatever. And I didn't even internalize it at all
Right.
because you know what? One of the fucking promises is we will know a new peace and a new serenity. And
Right.
I have this new peace and new serenity. The craziness isn't in me anymore.
Right.
It's just not. It's not. I have peace and I have serenity. And it's new. It's fucking. It's a peace and a serenity that I've never had in my life before. And there's no fucking way some external shit's gonna take that away from me
Right.
ever. So yeah. So it didn't even occur to me that the craziness would be coming from me because it just doesn't anymore.
Right.
Not that I'm fucking perfect and whatever. I can still be a dick and all that fun stuff. But yeah, but the absolute insanity does not come from me anymore because it's not fucking in me anymore.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing that I mean when I did that, I don't feel nuts, and I'm not feeling crazy or going crazy. It's just this, part of my well, one of my defects, I guess, is just I do that. I trip out over things,
Mm-hmm.
and I overthink things every once in a while. But
Mm.
but then what I everything that I always go back to. And like today, I said I had a great day, a great
Right.
day money wise,
Mm-hmm.
and I had all these payments. I mean, probably it's just a huge payment day,
Uh-huh.
and I had messaged my boss because he had to do something on one of the payments that I got. Nothing big, part of our process.
Right.
And he said, good job. I said, well, finally the stuff's coming in. And he said, I said, better late than ever. And he's like, yeah, definitely, but just one more day left in the month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not going to hit the goal or anything like that, but I mean, this helps me save a little bit of face, make a little bit more money, all this
Right.
stuff.
Right.
But the thing of it is, and here's what I always go back to, and whether it's work or whether it's anything else, I have not done anything differently during these slow times.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I've done. I haven't worked less. I haven't slacked off. I haven't done any of these things. I'm doing the same goddamn thing every single day.
Right.
And then today was and these are all people I've been working on for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And over time, a couple of them I've only had a couple of phone calls, but like, yeah, I'm going to take care of this today and take care of this today and blah, blah, blah. And all this shit's coming in, so it is. All these things happen. It's just the problem is it'd be nice if there was a little bit more in the middle part and if
Uh-huh.
it was, a little bit more evened out, but that's not fucking life, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, well, so basically, what you're saying is you've been doing the footwork, and the fruition came after you did the footwork.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what we always talk about. And the thing of it is that it just I'm in an atmosphere, and I can usually rise above this stuff because I understand what our manager has to deal with.
Hmm.
Some of the other people, and not everyone has the mindset and the motivation that I do.
Sure.
I don't give a flying fuck what the company wants from me. I really don't.
Hmm.
I know what they want, and I know what I
Right.
have to do every day, and I do it for me. I'm a selfish motherfucker.
Right.
And if I'm doing everything for me as if this were my own business, because that's how when I sit down on my computer, it's my
Uh-huh.
business.
Right.
I'm never going to do anything wrong,
Right.
not
Yeah.
intentionally.
Right.
I'm always going to do all the right things,
Hmm.
So, but not everyone's like that, and I realize that. So he's always got every once in a while, through these group messages, it's a poke here, it's a this that, a little bit
Right.
of, most of the time he's 90% of the time he's positive, but
Mhm.
every once in a while he'll throw out some negative motivation. I'm like, hey, motherfucker, because we talked about it. It's again, that's a huge problem for me to this day If somebody shoots negative shit on me, like oh, you're acting like, or you're somebody says something bad to me, I want to do the opposite then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
even if I, to this day, even if I know it's going to hurt me, like, okay, listen, motherfucker, listen what I can do.
You want to see some bad behavior, motherfucker? I'll show you.
Yeah, you have no fucking clue, dude. No clue. None.
Right.
You want to see some fucking crazy? I'm storing it up just for you.
Right.
But no, I mean, really, and I'm glad you brought that up though, because and that's a good way to put it. I didn't feel like there's craziness inside of me. I need to recognize my own, again, that anxious energy, that nervous energy, the thing, the problem that I have of stuffing things. And I do internalize things. I do,
sure.
and I've done it for years. I'm cognizant of it. And I know when I need to go take a fucking walk, or sometimes just, watch something on TV. It doesn't take much,
Right.
Never a thought in my mind where it used to be like, I'm going to go slam a couple of beers because that's going to be cool.
Right.
That's going to even me out. But yeah, I don't need to do all that stuff. So, but yeah, I'm glad you brought up the external too, because I mean, we got definitely two different looks at that. So I appreciate that. All right. So this one is from Keep It Simple. I haven't read these things in a long time, so I have no idea. We say we have a program for living. Are we living our program? We'll find the answer in our behavior. Sober people act in sober ways. Okay.
Right.
So in parentheses, my question to you, Mike.
Yes.
What does that mean to you? Sober people act in sober ways.
Again, the crazy. Right. You don't act. Yeah, exactly. You act in sober ways. You're not fucking emotional, run by your feelings anymore. That's what sobriety is to me. I know what the right thing is, and I do the right thing most of the time. And right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not ruled by my emotions. Yes, I get tired. Yes, I get angry. Yes, I get sad. Yes, I get whatever. But again, none of that controls the way I act anymore. I act from the principles. I act from the absolutes. I act from what I'm supposed to do, being a good boy. It doesn't matter what my fucking mood is, because my mood's going to change. That's going to burn itself out too. Yeah. So exactly. That's acting sober is acting sober, not out of control and emotional. There's no point in that.
Right. Yeah, just when no idea. I never know any or have any idea when I write these things down. But I like that. Sober people act in sober ways, and it reminded me of and I'm sure it was Bob, from Who Do You Know, or Joe, or somebody that had, said that you would say to somebody, you'd hear him talking in the meeting or something like that, you're not acting sober, or you're not living like a sober person, or whatever the case is. And and we talked about that you can be, so take you and I, 14 years and almost 14 and a half years of with no substances within us. But what does that actually mean? I mean, okay, so that part's a given. We haven't had any substances, but then what are we doing? Are we living, a sober life? Are we being decent people all the time?
Right.
Because, I mean, either one of us, well, anyone probably, but just talking for us, I know that either one of us could be strayed if we're not careful. It doesn't mean we're going to drink again, but if we're not doing the things, if we're not acting like sober people every day, getting up, being grateful, doing our readings, doing our prayers, doing this shit every week, sooner or later, it's going to get to the point where we may not drink right away. We may never drink, but we're going to go through this fucking terrible valley, a valley of despair, and unhappiness. So,
and I mean, and for me, I'm going to fucking drink. You know, if I stop doing the next right thing, and again, all the rituals and whatever that we do, that's the readings, the meditations, taking that time out of the day every day to be grateful for something, and all that stuff that we do. Right. If I start slacking on that stuff, that's it, man. I mean, we've talked about it. We've seen it so many
Right.
times. You stop doing that stuff, and all of a sudden, if I don't need to do this and I don't need to do that, then I'm picking up a drink eventually. I am. I know I
Right.
am. Right? Because this is what keeps me from picking up that drink. I know that. I'm thoroughly convinced of that. And if I stop doing this stuff, if I stop living this way, if I stop living like a sober person, yeah, like you said, it's not going to happen today or tomorrow. I've got some insurance built up. Absolutely. But if I stop doing this stuff, then I don't have a choice. The choice I have today is to do this shit or not. I choose to do it.
Right.
But if I choose not to do this stuff, then I will not have a choice, and I will pick up. I will get loaded again. I know that. I'm going to have to, because I'm not going to have that defense against it. I'm going to be fucking miserable, and I'm going to off myself or whatever. It's no, thank you. No,
Right.
no, I'm going to do this shit. I choose to do this stuff today. It is a choice. It's a freedom, but it's but it's not, because I'm an alcoholic, and it's either choose to do this stuff or not have a choice and do the other stuff. I know, I've lived it. That's what I am. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm a drug addict, and I'm going to use drugs and drink if I don't do this shit that these people taught me to do. And so I'm going to do it. I choose to do it. But I also know that if I choose not to do it, then I'm not going to have a fucking choice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you said that it's probably not going to be today or tomorrow, but eventually. That what completely popped into my head. There was two things. First thing was, I'm like, what if it was today or tomorrow? I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, seriously,
Oh,
it's just
yeah, right. Could be.
and I just that made me really uncomfortable because I'm like, God,
good.
what if? Yeah, no, I know, but that's the point. Is
right.
am I being? I'll just speak for myself. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but am I being held on, so by such a thin thread, in a really, really good thin thread,
Yeah.
But that if I take it away, would 2 days be it? Would it be 3? I don't want to fucking find out.
Yeah, me
But
neither.
then the other thing is that I remember, again, very early, we were still probably 30 days sober somewhere in that area, that this guy talked about and I know I brought it up before, but he talked about his prayers and his routine and that sort of thing. And he said, like, his prayers, for instance, I think he was talking about that. He said that I will never take away from them. He goes, I'll add to it, but he goes, I'm afraid. He goes, what if that one thing is what's holding me together? And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Right.
And I mean, seriously, and we joke about the pizza and the making our bed and that sort of thing. So the things that, the spite's a joke, but hey, I mean, the spite is important. We talk,
it's not that much. It's a joke, but it's not.
Right. I agree with you. The making the bed, I've, since the day I got sober, I've never missed making my bed ever.
Right.
I've gone Friday nights without pizza, when either been with people, been with things.
Right. Sure.
Did I tell you what I had for dinner when I went out to dinner with Katie and Derek when they were up in Niagara? Because it's Friday, because you and I recorded on Thursday. They came in when they got here. I'm like, oh, we're going to go up and have dinner. They had pizza and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not going to order a whole pizza. They had a pizza burger.
Ah, right.
Swear to God, I got a pizza burger.
Yep.
Horrible fucking heartburn. Horrible. Just fucking horrible. It's probably the spices in the meat and the sauce, but it was good. It wasn't bad.
Right.
But all those sort of things, it scares the fuck out of me to think that I mean, I want to do these things because I like how I feel, I like my life and all those sort of things. But it does. I don't want to stop doing any of this. What if,
Yeah.
And I mean, now I read 4 books in the morning. Okay. I could go down to 3, I think, but I'm not gonna. I'm never gonna go down to 3.
Right.
I can't now.
Right.
And I mean, no shit. I sit down, I swear to God, every fucking day. I sit down I get up at whatever, like the top of the hour, whatever, wherever I'm at. After I, it's start my coffee, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, put my contacts in, sit down to do my reading. It's literally 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
By the time I sit down.
Yeah.
And by the time I read 4 books, I do a set of prayers, and then I close out always with the 7-step prayer. Okay. All of that takes me 15 minutes.
Right.
Every day. That's it. Because by 35 minutes after the hour, that's when I used to smoke. I go out and have a cigarette. Now I go out and hit my vape. I come back in. I do, I pop on Facebook. I go through my page on there. I go on Instagram, this and that. That's another, by the time I get in there, that's another 15 minutes. But that's my time, for doing that shit. But literally 15 minutes a day. And I'm reading and prayers. And I'm doing, quote unquote, all this stuff. Why would I take out a 3-minute book or a 2-minute reading? And I'm not fucking around. That scares me to death. I can't. I will not. I'll replace it with a book.
Yeah, right. That's why it's funny, man. It's probably why I've never grabbed that 4th book. Right, I rotate that 3rd one, but I did exactly. I never added that 4th one because I don't want to fucking have to. I don't want 4. I only want 3.
You know what got me into the 4th book is the now I can't even think of it. It was the online. I used to get a daily reading from an online website. I can't remember what it was, but then they stopped doing the daily reading. So basically, I think I got there. It was an app or whatever. I could go on their website. I could do it every day. But so I was getting an email from it every day. So technically, it was a reading, but it wasn't a book.
Right.
And then so I started doing that religiously every day. Then I'm like, so that became part of the whatever. I'm like, I started to get sick of it because there was a lot of repeats and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And they were it was a whole bunch of different things. I can't remember the name of the website. But then I'm like, oh, I'm going to check out a different Hazelden book. So that got me into the 4th book. and I've been, with it ever since, and it's cool. And I love every one of them. And, I might switch out the one that I would switch out is I read a day at a time. I've been doing that for probably that one, maybe 3 years, two at least, if not 3, you know? I'd flip that one out to another one, but my top 3, I'll never flip out, I'll read the same 3 that you do,
Yeah. Right.
So, yep. Scared of change. But in this case, it's a good fear of change, right?
Exactly. Right. And it's not even change. It's again, the subtraction that we know is bad. Right. Like you said, first 30 days, man, I'll add to it, but I will not take anything away. Right. And it's same thing, man. What if it's that one thing? What if it is that goddamn pizza on Friday night? Right.
Yeah. And there's it's funny because there's one part of my prayers that well, 2 parts. One part that I adjust, there's certain people that if I know they're going through some shit, I kind of add like almost like, I hate to say it, almost like a special intention. It's not really that, but I'll say, prayers too. And then like there's, sometimes 2-3 people that are going through some whatever. So I throw some vibes out at them,
Right.
But that'll rotate every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's a piece, I don't take away the peace. I just take away the whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a healthy superstition, whatever you want to call it. It's healthy for us to not subtract any of this fucking shit.
Right.
Keep doing
exactly.
it.
Healthy fears. I was just talking to Chris about that this week. Yeah, it was a completely different subject, but yes, I was applying what I've learned in this shit to something else. And yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with healthy fears. Right. Absolutely not. That's I want to be scared. I got to remember the fucking terror that it is my disease.
Right. Yeah. And it is. We laugh at it, but man, it's a fucking truth, man. It really is. So, all right. Well, you know what? I don't know. I was going to say we did good work. We never do good work. We do some sort of work here.
We do work.
We filled an hour. Well, we filled time. We
did.
So, yeah. I think at this point, Mike, it's your turn.
Oh, well, thank you, Bill. And thank you, all of you, for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, go out there and do something nice for somebody else this week. And don't tell anybody you did it. Make somebody smile. All right. Now, from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time to the ends of the earth, always and eternally, fuck you. And now it's time to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
And by the way, and I didn't think about it until probably Wednesday, I think.
Ah.
But I shot G a text, and I'm like, oh, by the way, I said, Mike read your thing from Facebook, and she, it was probably half hour, 45 minutes later. She's like, yay, I'm gonna listen.
Well, good. We got another play out of it. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I said, yeah, it was fun. I said I didn't know. I said I completely forgot about it till till you pulled it out at the end. But I'm like, yeah, he still did his normal one, but he said, did that one too. And I told her, I'm like, yeah, I think we might. It's up to you, but I think we might, keep both of them in there because they're fun.
I believe so.
Yeah, she got a kick out of it. So we
can't take it away now.
You know what? I
get fucking drunk, man.
I know. Literally, as we were just talking about that, I'm like, I wasn't going to say it, but I'm like, yeah, you're kind of fucking stuck because you started it.
That's right.
Started it. All right, man. So, everyone that's missed your radio gig, I'm going to wish you well to your radio gig. I'm going to listen to it. I got nothing else to fucking do tomorrow except for put this together. I'm going to drive to Georgia and grab some pizza. That sounds like a long way. It's not. Then I'm going to sit around and do fucking nothing while I listen to you rap. Wrap your mouth around whatever it is.
That's right.
Wrap your mouth around a microphone.
Wrap my mouth around some metal.
All right, man. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
And yeah, we'll talk soon, right?
We shall.
All righty. Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate. Dream the impossible dream. And keep fucking off forever.